But listen to what Hoppy Heidleberg of the Timothy McVeigh federal grand jury, Oklahoma City federal grand jury said. Listen to Hoppy. So he impaneled you. Now you're impaneled as a federal grand jury investigating the Oklahoma City bombing?
Right.
And what was the name of that federal building?
The Murrah, M-U-R-R-A-H, I think, the Murrah building.
And in your opinion, from what you saw while you were on the federal grand jury and what you have come to know, is it possible that all that bomb damage could have been done by the single truck that they claim Timothy McVeigh used to blow up that building?
No, it's not possible. When you apply the applicable physics and mathematics to it, it's not possible for a 4,800-pound ammonium nitrate bomb or a 7,000-pound ammonium nitrate bomb or even a much larger bomb to have done that damage, because ammonium nitrate is, by nature, it is a low-velocity, low-brisance explosive and is completely unsuitable for that kind of operation.
So you're telling us that he didn't blow that building up by himself? Or he didn't
Well, he didn't blow up the building.
He didn't blow up the building.
He didn't blow up the building. He may have set off some kind of bomb, but it's not what blew up the building.
So something else blew up the building?
Yeah, charges inside the building blew up the building.
And the American people have never been told the truth then?
Well, of course not, no.
So you're sitting on this thing and you get to thinking about the physics of what sodium nitrate, which is a slow velocity explosive.
Low velocity, low brisance explosive, right.
And they won't let you question the witnesses directly, which is your duty and your right. Right?
Well, they asked me not to. I did anyway, and that was the basis of our first conflict. We had many conflicts.
So then you wrote Judge...
I wrote Judge Russell a letter demanding that he allow me to call, which a grand juror's rights to call witnesses. We're supposed to be able to call our own witnesses, and I wanted to call certain witnesses. I wrote him a letter and told him that and listed the witnesses I wanted called, and the letter I got back said, basically you're fired. And if you and you go to jail for 6 months for every time you speak out. And
so the judge actually, Russell, he wrote you a letter, and there's a one-paragraph letter basically saying you are immediately dismissed.
Right.
And don't open your mouth.
And keep your mouth shut or you go to jail. That's right.
Did that seem like American due process to you?
Well, not quite. No, I didn't think that I should have been fired for doing my job. No. I mean, you know, it's okay if I don't do my job. I expect to be fired, but that's the first time I've ever been fired for doing my job. Yeah, right.
Do you think even the people the victims, all those parents that had their children killed, they really believe Timothy McVeigh was the sole
Most of them
perpetrator?
do. Most of them do.
Do you think any of them have an inkling that there's something else going on?
Well, of course some of them do. I mean, I have a good friend who was in the building. He's a victim, and he knows the truth. And then the Edie.
And what did he do about it when he knew the truth?
It took him a while to know the truth. He's now cooperating with myself and Charles Key and other investigators investigating the building. But he didn't know what to do about it at first, because first of all, he was injured. I mean, it was a while before he recovered from his injuries. And it was a process, a slow process of him putting two and two together to figure out that what the government was telling him happened to him wasn't the truth. So it took him a while. That's why he didn't speak out early on. He didn't know what to say. He didn't know the truth. But he does now. And, of course, there were some families. Glenn Wilburn's probably the most prominent. His grandsons were killed in the explosion, and he's an accountant, so he's intelligent. He wasn't a government employee, and he figured out right quick something was wrong. He never did figure out exactly what was wrong, but he got close enough to it that they killed him.
They killed him?
Yes, they did.
Who do you think killed him?
A CIA operative.
In what year did he die?
Well, that's a good question. Happened in 1997, around 97, something like that.
So
he eventually, what he did wrong, it was okay to complain and ask questions and all that, but he filed a lawsuit, and they didn't like that.
He filed a lawsuit?
He filed a lawsuit against Timothy McVeigh, which gave him legal standing to request documents that the government didn't want exposed.
And so he suddenly found himself dead.
Right.
So, Mr. Wagener, what kind of an America do we live in when an accountant filing a lawsuit to find the truth about the Murrah building demolition ends up suddenly dead? How can this go on?
Goes on, Susan? It goes on because people continue to vote for Democrats and Republicans who let it go on.
So, Mr. Wagener, what kind of an America do we live in when an accountant filing a lawsuit to find the truth about the Murrah building demolition ends up suddenly dead? How can this go on?